A round of applause for both families, ladies and gentlemen. It is stipulated that marriages are made in heaven, but are settled right here on earth. And so the wondrous days of our mirth. He giveth to her a rose, not to keep, but to breathe of her fragrance and return, smelling and exuding her beauty. And he will be the thorn that will protect, but both need watering. Today we nurture the garden of love, as we introduce you to the wedding story of a young man, slightly chivalrous, an avid golfer, a Taurian, and indeed a soul who loves to travel, to a young lady who looks absolutely exquisite and ornate today, someone who reveres, of course, her mum's cooking and her daily duties, but adores her dad, family-orientated, and hates lizards. Ladies and gentlemen, on their wedding day, put your hands together, ovate, but most of all, let's welcome the wonderful couple, Chuvasen Govender and Rowena Naidu. They look absolutely lovely. He's slightly nervous yet courageous. And she looks ready to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Chuvasen and Rowena on the radiant. Vanakkam Namaskaram, Prem Namaste, Shri Satrikal Om Sarvam, Sanbunani Dumalam. On a very special day, we'd like to welcome you to this very fine and prestigious venue that now converts to a spiritual arena where these two young souls will, of course, spread their love to each other, but invite God into their lives. With you as witnesses and family and friends, we're here to share these beautiful accolades through divine intervention. 6.5 billion people on planet Earth, the last time I Googled. But you are the most selected, the most loved, less than 80. You do the mathematics. On this special day, we'd love to ask you to please rise for a moment in time. But before we hand you over to our revered Guruji Ayya, it is time to, of course, seek out the ancestral love of those souls that through the pandemic lost their lives physically on earth and are nurtured somewhere in a spiritual arena closer to God. Amongst them, the revered grandparents, and indeed, of course, the late mum of the groom, Mrs. Charmaine Govender, and also your family and friends. Let's bow our heads and observe that subtle moment silence to give them the tribute and the love. Somewhere in this room, you'll find that the bride's, of course, grandparents, the groom's grandparents, and indeed his mum are like angels circling. You may not see them physically, but they watch over you as guides. Let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You may now find your seats, and as you do so, to remain calm and enjoy the wondrosity of this occasion, on behalf of the Govender and the Naidu family, we welcome you to the wedding, the traditional aspect, where Rowena weds, of course, her sweetheart, her Savaria, and that, of course, being Chuvasen. He has started off as the boss in his marriage, choosing the arena where he hobbies every other weekend. But I'm certain at the reception, when he dances to her tunes, things may change there. My name is Rowena Janki, the storyteller, and it is a pleasure to enunciate, explain, and beat the narrative to the wedding story. Let us all renew our vows. If you're ready to marry, leap into it. And I'll hand you over to our revered Guruji Arya, who will now commence with the wedding proper. Our pranams and salutations, the blessings of the lotus feet of Lord Ganesha. One more time, Chuvasen and Rowena.
Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Om Sai Ram. Good afternoon to each and every one of you. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Gajananam Bhudaganati Sevitam Kabhikta Jambu Bhalasara Bhakshitam Umasudham Shoga Vinasha Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Aindukarattanai Ane Muhattanai Indranilambinai Baribettinai Nandi Mahandane Yanak Kurundinai Kundiyal Veitru Adi Pottruகின்றேனே Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Om Shatamanam Bhavati Shadhayu Purusha Shadhendriya Ayuk Shivendriye Pratiteshtati. Take a seat. Now I call upon for the Nelungu, two from the whoever is nominated, two from the groom side and one from the bride side. Please come to the stage.
You'll find we now have the Sandana Nalangu on stage. Our Guruji has indicated three ladies that represent the Trimurti. They are consorts to Lord Mahadev, the Redeemer, Lord Vishnu, the Preserver, and indeed, of course, Lord Brahmana, the Creator. These three ladies would apply the auspicious powders which we call the Mangalamana Bodhi, the Tirtham, which is the rose water, and adorn them with Sandanam, which is a sandalwood paste to perfumate and cool them. It's like a cologne. And you'll find also a turmeric powder, which is Ayurvedic, has a cosmetic and a spiritual meaning behind it. Each of these ladies will then, of course, perform this deed, and they will receive a betel leaf, a betel nut, and a flower, representing the seat of the Lord, the heart of the Lord, and the navel of mankind. The final lady will then, of course, circumnavigate him with the Shubham Kalsam, or the lamp. This is to illuminate and allow them to have prosperity. This is called the Sandana Nalangu, the third and final count of our Nalangu. I know many of you would have witnessed two yesterday. The morning one, which was the Surya, and the evening, the Mali. Once the Nalangu has been concluded, the ladies will then, of course, leave the stage, and we will be ready to ask the couple to then perform the prayer to Lord Ganesha, he who represents an elephant feature and will remove impediments and obstacles in their pathway. Today, as Chuvasen and of course Rowena enter into the first step of their marriage, it's important to offer the seat to the Lord to indicate the blessings of the hierarchy and the one that is supreme to our souls. Because without intervention, they would not have met. This is their divine day.
ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम अपवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वागस्तांगदो विवा यस्मरेत् पुंडरीकाक्षं सभाख्या आभ्यन्तरशुचिः हृद्यास्म हव्यैः नमसा उपसद्य मित्रं देवं मित्रधेयन्नोऽस्तु अनुराधान् हविषा वर्धयन्तः शतं जीवेम शरदस्य वीराः। ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं गुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम तदेव लग्नं सुदिनं तदेव ताराबलं चन्द्रबलं तदेव विद्याबलं दैवबलं तदेव लक्ष्मीपदेते अंग्रियुगं स्मरामि शुभे शोभने मुहूर्ते आद्यब्रह्मणः द्वितीयपरार्थे श्वेतवराहकल्पे वैवस्वतमन्वन्तरे अष्टाविंशतितमे कलियुगे प्रथमे पादे जम्बूद्वीपे दक्षिण आफ्रिका खण्डे शहाब्दे अस्मिन् वर्तमाने व्यवहारिके प्रभवातीनां षष्ट्याः संवत्सराणां मध्ये सुधेशन गौंडर नामधेयस्याः इदं कुमाराणां रुवीना नायडू नामधेयस्याः इदं कुमारीणां विवाह कर्म करिष्ये निर्विघ्नेन परिसमाप्यर्थम् आदौ महागणपति पूजाञ्च अद्य करिष्ये। ஓம் ஓம் அகர முதல் எழுத்தே போற்றி, ஓம் அழகே யானை கண்ணே போற்றி, ஓம் ஆனந்த கணபதியே போற்றி, ஓம் ஆபத்தில் காற்பவனே போற்றி, ஓம் அங்கையர் கன்னி செல்வா போற்றி, ஓம் அனைத்தோர்க்கும் அருள்வாய் போற்றி, ஓம் இளம் யானை முகத்தாய் போற்றி, ஓம் ஈசன் தந்த மகனே போற்றி, ஓம் உள்ளமருத்தமா போற்றி, ஓம் உன்றிவினை முடிப்பாய் போற்றி, ஓம் ஏகதந்த கணபதியே போற்றி, ஓம் எழில்முக தேவனே போற்றி, ஓம் ஓங்காரமுடையோர் போற்றி, ஓம் பெரிச்சாளி வாகனனே போற்றி, ஓம் மங்கள கணபதியே போற்றி, ஓம் மகா கணபதியே போற்றி, ஓம் ஞான கணபதியே போற்றி, ஓம் சந்தான கணபதியே போற்றி, ஓம் சம்மோக கணபதியே போற்றி, ஓம் வித்யா கணபதியே போற்றி, ஓம் ஸ்ரீ மகா கணபதியே போற்றி போற்றி போற்றி. ஓம் விக்னேஸ்வர மகாபாக சர்வதேவ நமஸ்கிருதா அஸ்யாஹ ஸ்ரீ மகா கணபதி மகா கணபதியே நமஹ. ஓம் அகஜானன பத்மார்க்கம் கஜானனமகர்நிஷம் அநேகதம் தம் பக்தானாம் ஏகதந்தம் உபாஸ்மஹே. ஓம் ஸ்ரீ மகாகணபதயே நமஹ. அநேக கோடி பிரார்த்தன பூஜாம் சமர்ப்பயாமி. ஓம் ராஜாதிராஜாய பிரசக்ய சாகினீம் நமோ வயம் வை ஸ்ரவணாய கர்மஹ. சமே காமான் காமகாமாய மஹ்யம் காமேஸ்வரோ வை ஸ்ரவணோ ததாத். कुबेराय वैश्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। कर्पूरनीराञ्जनं समर्पयामि। कर्पूरनीराञ्जनं समर्पयामि। आजमनेयम् आजमनेयं समर्पयामि। ओम विगतसामक्षत्रप्रदे विष्णुयं विष्णुभौजः शिबितं ओम बृहत् सामक्षत्रभृत् वृद्धवृष्णीयं तुष्टुभौजः शुभितम् उग्रवीरमिन्द्रस्तोमेन पंचदशेन मध्यमितं वादेन ओम सखरेण रक्षा। ओम सखरेण रक्षा। ब्रह्मा मध्ये मातृगणा स्मृताः क्षौदो सागरा सर्वे सप्तद्वीपावसुन्धरा वेदो विजुर्वेदो समवेदो वेदार्वण सहिता सर्वे कलशाम्बुसमाश्रिताः आयान्तु श्री साम्ब परमेश्वर पूजार्कं धुरिदक्षयकारकाः गंगे च यमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिन्धु कावेरी तीर्थेऽस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु। ओम इमं मे वर्णश्रुतिगवम् अध्याजमृडया त्वामवस्विराजगे तत्त्वायामि ब्रह्मणा वन्दमान तदाशास्तेजमानो हविद्भिः अखेडमानो वर्णिकबोधिपुरुषकं समानः आयुप्रमोषीः सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते। भूर्भुवस्वरों नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुप्रचोदयात्। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाकारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिगृध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयकरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं। महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्वरोमस्मिन् कलशे वरुणं साम्ब परमेश्वरं लक्ष्मीनारायणं ध्यायामि। आसनं समर्पयामि। पादयोः पाद्यं समर्पयामि अर्घ्यं समर्पयामि आजमनेयं समर्पयामि स्नपयामि शानानन्तरम् आजमनेयं समर्पयामि गन्धपुष्पधूपदीपैः। ओम அரங்கநகலையோர் போற்றி ஆறுமுகன் அம்மாள் போற்றி ஓம் அனுமயந்தன் தேவனே போற்றி ஓம் அத்புத வினீதனே போற்றி ஓம் ஆழ்வார்கள் தொழுபவனே போற்றி ஓம் ஆனந்தமூர்த்தியே போற்றி ஓம் அநேக்கருள் புரிவாய் போற்றி ஓம் உமையம்மை காப்பாய் போற்றி ஓம் உலகளந்த பெருமாள் போற்றி ஓம் எங்கும் நிறைந்தவனே போற்றி ஓம் கருட வாகனனே போற்றி ஓம் கல்யாணமூர்த்தியே போற்றி ஓம் கோகலை காற்பவனே போற்றி ஓம் கோவிந்த முத்ரிதா போற்றி ஓம் சர்வலோகேஷா போற்றி ஓம் சாந்தகுணசீலா போற்றி ஓம் ஸ்ரீனிவாசமூர்த்தியே போற்றி ஓம் சம்பவுள வாகனனே போற்றி ஓம் தபசிகள் தொழுவாய் போற்றி ஓம் தரணிக்கு கார்ப்பாய் போற்றி ஓம் திருமகள் மணவாளா போற்றி ஓம் திருமேனி உடையோய் போற்றி ஓம் திருவேங்கடநாதா போற்றி. ஓம் திருமலை கொழுந்தே போற்றி. ஓம் திருத்தழ் அணிவாய் போற்றி. ஓம் திருவருள் புரிவாய் போற்றி. ஓம் காளிங்க நர்த்தனா போற்றி. ஓம் திருபா தயாளனே போற்றி. ஓம் கிருஷ்ணா அவதாரனே போற்றி. ஓம் மகாவிஷ்ணவே போற்றி. ஓம் சூர்யா போற்றி. ஓம் சந்திரா போற்றி. ஓம் செவ்வாயே போற்றி. ஓம் புதனே போற்றி. ஓம் குருவே போற்றி. ஓம் சுக்கிரா போற்றி. ஓம் சனீஸ்வரா போற்றி. ஓம் ராகவே போற்றி. ஓம் கேதவே போற்றி. ஓம் மகாவிஷ்ணவே போற்றி. ஓம் நம சிவாய போற்றி. போற்றி போற்றி. ஓம் விஜ்ஜந்தனுக்கபர்தினோ விஷல்லோபாணபாகம் உத அனேஷன்னசேஷப ஆபுரஸ்ய நிஷங்கதிஹி தூபமாக்ராபயாமி. दीपार्थं पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि. धूपदीपानन्तरम् आचमनेयं समर्पयामि. भूर्भुवस्सुवः देवसविदप्रसुवा सत्यं दत्तेन परिषिञ्जामि. ओं प्राणाय स्वां भानाय स्वाहा व्यानाय स्वां धानाय स्वां समानाय स्वां ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा. फलं सर्वं यथापाहं निवेद्यं समर्पयामि. ओं सोमो वा एतस्य राज्यमादक्ते यो राजासन् राज्यो वासो वे न जयते. देवसुवा मेधानि कवीकुंषि भवन्ति एतावं दोवे देवानाकं सभाः तयेवास्मै सभान् प्रयच्छन्ति. स्तयेनं पुनस्तु वन्दे राज्याय देवसु देवसु राजा भवति. कर्पूरनीराञ्जनं समर्पयामि. आचमनेयं समर्पयामि. नमः शिवाभ्यां नवयौवनाभ्यां परपरासृष्टवबुर्धराभ्यां नागेन्द्रकन्यावृषकेतनाभ्यां नमो नमः शंकर पार्वतीभ्यां. ओम भवाय देवाय नमः. Both of you 3 times. Yeah. Put. ओम भवाय से नमः. भवाय देवाय नमः. ओम सर्वाय देवाय नमः. ओम ईशानाय देवाय नमः. ओम पशुपतेर्देवाय नमः. ओम रुद्राय देवाय नमः. ओम उग्राय देवाय नमः. ओम भीमाय देवाय नमः. ओम महदोर्देवाय नमः. ओम भवस्य देवस्य पत्न्ये नमः. ओम सर्वस्य देवस्य पत्न्ये नमः. समस्त उपचारान् ओम सोमो वा एतस्य राज्यमादक्ते यो राजासन् राज्यो वासो वे न जयते. देवसुवा मेधानि हवीगुंषि भवन्ति एतावं दोवै देवानागन् सभाः तयेवास्मै सभान् प्रयच्छन्ति. स्तयेनं पुनस्तु वन्दे राज्याय देवसु राजा भवति. कर्पूरनीराञ्जनान्तरम् आचमनेयं समर्पयामि. ओम नमः शिवाभ्यां नवयौवनाभ्यां परपरासृष्टबबुर्धराभ्यां नागेन्द्रकन्यावृषकेतनाभ्यां नमो नमः शंकर पार्वतीभ्यां. सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते.
Probably the most important dawn on earth is where we seek the blessings of our parents. And today you'll find that representing Chuvasen's family is his wonderful dad, his late mum who's watching as a spiritual guide, and Mrs. Munsami. Rowena, of course, has her parents on her side. And as the Naidus now entrust the governors with the love and blessings that they've raised their daughter to an eligible, suitable and marriageable age, today they grant permission to her to be married. No one gives her away, because she will still be a daughter, but she'll graduate to attend to, of course, being a wife, and of course, as we state in Hinduism, Dharampatni. She is also Madagaval, which is daughter from another, and Kani, which is, of course, in singledom. That will change when this exam is passed in a short while. And then Chuvasen will accept, of course, his wife to be rightfully close to his heart. That is why he stands opposite to her at this point. But jokes aside, this is an emotional time. A time where families are revered on stage. As we say in Hinduism, Madam Pitam Guru or Deva, our mortal beings are those that we see first when we are born, from the mother's womb and the one who conceives you, and those are your parents. Indeed, they will grant you that status to attend to your life at the Grihast Ashram, where you become householders, first as husband and wife, and at a pertinent time, when that babysitter SMS comes, possibly as parents. A woman is born not once, not twice, but 3 times. First as the daughter, the bundle of joy. Today she is born for the 2nd time. So Sivan Prema, take note. She will be born today as a wife, and one day as a mother. Chuvasen, you have a big role to play. Those tall, hunky shoulders means you also need to be the bodyguard to her. And she has, of course, come unto your fairway. You may now continue the Kanyadan Grahana. At the conclusion, the families will exchange the very sacred, which is to give them prosperity and love. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the Governor and Naidu family.
ஓம் அரங்க நகலையோர் போற்றி, ஆறுமுகன் அம்மாள் போற்றி, அனுமயந்தன் தேவனே போற்றி, ஓம் அத்புத வினீதனே போற்றி, ஓம் ஆழ்வார்கள் தொழுபவனே போற்றி, ஓம் ஆனந்த மூர்த்தியே போற்றி, ஓம் அனைக்கருள் புரிவாய் போற்றி, ஓம் உமையம்மை காப்பாய் போற்றி, ஓம் உலகலந்த பெருமாள் போற்றி, ஓம் எங்கும் நிறைந்தவனே போற்றி, ஓம் மகாவிஷ்ணவே போற்றி, ஓம் நம சிவாய போற்றி போற்றி போற்றி. ஓம் சப்ரத சபான்மே கோபாய ஏன சப்யா சபாசதः ஆனந்திரியாவதத்குரு சர்வமாயிருபாசதாம். கற்பூரநீராஞ்சனம் சமர்ப்பயாமி. கற்பூரநீராஞ்சனாந்தரம் ஆஜமனேயம் சமர்ப்பயாமி. நம சிவாபியாம் நவயௌவனாபியாம் பரப்பலாசிருஷ்டபபுத்தராபியாம் நாகேந்திரகன்யாம்ஷகேதனாபியாம் நமோ நம சங்கர பார்வதிபியாம். நம சிவாய வாழ்க, நாதந்தான் வாழ்க, இமை பொழுதும் என் நெஞ்சில் நீங்கா தான் தாழ்வாழ்க, கோகழியாண்ட குருமனிதன் தான் வாழ்க, ஆகமமாகி நின்ற அன்னிப்பால் தான் வாழ்க. சாந்தாகாரம் புஜகசேனம் பத்மநாபம் சுரேஷம் விஸ்வாகாரம் ககனசதிருஷம் மேகவர்ணம் சுபாங்கம் லக்ஷ்மீகாந்தம் கமலநயனம் யோகிகிரித்யானகம்யம் வந்தே விஷ்ணும் பவபயகரம் சர்வலோகைகநாதம். ஓம் ஆபோகிஷ்டாமயோ புவः ஸ்தான ஊர்ஜே ததாதன மகேரணாய சக்ஷசே தஸ்ய பாஜயதே கணः உஷதீரிவ மாதரः தஸ்மா அரங்கமாமவः யக்ஷயாய ஜின்வதா ஆபோ ஜனயதா ஜனः. ఓం అముగ శర్మణో నప్త్రీం అముగ శర్మణ పౌత్రీం శివానాయుడు నామధేయస్య పుత్రీం ప్రేమానాయుడు నామధేయస్య పుత్రీం రొవీనా నాయుడు నామ్నీం మధీయాం కన్యాం అముగ శర్మణో నప్త్రే అముగ శర్మణ పౌత్రాయ ఓం చువాసన్ గౌండర్ నామధేయస్య పుత్రాయ శంభగవల్లి గౌండర్ నామధేయస్య పుత్రాయ లోగన్ గౌండర్ నామధేయస్యాః ఇమే వరాయ కనక సంపన్నాం కనకాభరణదాసినాం తుభ్యం దాస్యామి విప్రేంద్ర యథోక్త ఫలతో భవ. ఓం శ్రేయో వసేయ ఆయల్ సంభూతం భూతం చిత్రక్రేతు ప్రభానాభాన్ సంపాన్ జ్యోతిష్మాగస్తేజస్థానాదభగస్తవన్నమిదవన్నే రోజనో రోజమాన శోభన శోభమాన కళ్యాణ కన్యాం కనక సంపన్నాం కనకాభరణదాసినాం తుభ్యం దాస్యామి విప్రేంద్ర యథోక్త ఫలతో భవ. పుట్ వాటర్ 3 times. ఆపోగిష్టామ యోబుభస్తాన ఊర్జే దధాదన మఘేరణాయ చక్షసే యోవ శివతమోరసః తస్య భాజయదేగనః ఉషతీరివ మాతరః తస్మా అరంగమామవః యస్య క్షయాయ జిన్వతా ఆపో జనయథా జనః భూర్భువస్సువో భూర్భువస్సువః. ఓం శ్రేయో వసీయ ఆయల్ సంభూతం భూతం చిత్రక్రేతు ప్రభానాభాన్ సంపాన్ జ్యోతిష్మాగస్తేజస్థానాదభగస్తవన్నమిదవన్నే రోజనో రోజమాన శోభన శోభమాన കല്യാണ കന്യകാ പ്രധാന മുഹൂർത്തത്തിൽ മാമിക്കൂറ സംഭാവന ലക്ഷം കെട്ടി വരാഹം. ഓമായുക്ഷവേന്ദ്രിയേ प्रतिष्ठा. ఓం శ్రేయో వసీయ ఆయల్ సంభూతం భూతం చిత్రక్రేతు ప్రభానాభాన్ సంపాన్ జ్యోతిష్మాగస్తేజస్థానాదభగస్తవన్నమిదవన్నే రోజమాన శోభన శోభమాన ఓం శతమానం భవతి శతాయు పురుష శతేంద్రియ ఆయుక్షేవేంద్రియ ప్రతిష్టతి. Thank you very much. We'll call you all again for the blessing. Thank you. ఓం వైశ్వానరాయ విద్మహే లాలీలాయ ధీమహి తన్నో అగ్ని ప్రచోదయాత్. ఓం అగ్నేనయ సుపదారాయే అస్మాన్ విశ్వాని దేవ వయునాని విద్వాన్ యోధ్యస్మజ్జుగురాణమే నో భూయిష్టాంతే నమ ఉక్తిం విధేమ. അതിഥേ അനുമന്നസ്വ അനുമതേ അനുമന്നസ്വ സരസ്വതേ അനുമന്നസ്വ ദേവസവിത പ്രസുവ. ഓം അഗ്നയേ നമഃ. ഓം ഇന്ദ്രായ നമഃ. ഓം യമായ നമഃ. ഓം വരുണായ നമഃ. ഓം സോമായ നമഃ. ഓം ആഗ്നയേ നമഃ. ഓം നിഋതയേ നമഃ. ഓം വായവേ നമഃ. ഓം ഈശാനായ നമഃ. ഓം അഗ്നയേ നമഃ. സമസ്ത ഉപചാരാൻ സമർപ്പയാമി. ഓം ത്രയംബകം യജാമഹേ സുഗന്ധിം പുഷ്ടിവർദ്ധനം. ഓം ജുംസാഹ. അസ്യാഹ സുവേശൻ ഗൗണ്ടർ നാമധേയം റുവീന നായിഡു നാമധേയം ഇമം കുമാരം കുമാരിം മൃത്യോർപാലേ പാലേ രോഗാൻ മോജേ മോജേ ദീർഘായുഷം ദീർഘ ആയുഷ്മതീം കുരു കുരു സഹജും ഓം ഉർവാരുകമിവ ബന്ധനാഥ് മൃത്യോർമുക്ഷീയമാമൃതാ. ഓം ഗണാനാന്ത്വാ ഗണപതിം അവാമഹേ കവിം കവീനാമുമവസ്രവസ്തമം ജ്യേഷ്ഠരാജം ബ്രഹ്മണാം ബ്രഹ്മണസ്പതഃ ആനശൃണ്വന്നോദിവേത്സിതസാദനഗ് സ്വാഹാ. ഏകദന്തായ വിദ്മഹേ ഗജവക്ത്രകായ ധീമഹി തന്നോ ദന്തി പ്രചോദയാത് നമഃ സ്വാഹാ. ഓം ശ്രീം ഹ്രീം ഗ്ലീം ഗ്ലൗം ഗംഗണപതയേ വരവരദ സർവജനം മേ വശമാനായ സ്വാഹാ. ഓം തത്പുരുഷായ വിദ്മഹേ മഹാദേവായ ധീമഹി തന്നോ രുദ്രപ്രചോദയാത് നമഃ സ്വാഹാ. നാരായണായ വിദ്മഹേ വാസുദേവായ ധീമഹി തന്നോ വിഷ്ണുപ്രചോദയാത് നമഃ സ്വാഹാ. കാത്യായനായ വിദ്മഹേ കന്യാകുമാരി ധീമഹി തന്നോ ദുർഗിപ്രചോദയാത് നമഃ സ്വാഹാ. ഓം ആ സത്യേനർജസാവൃത്തമാനോ നിവേശയന്നമൃതം മർത്യഞ്ച ഹിരണ്യേന സവിതാരദേന ദേവോ യാതുപുനവശ്യൻ സ്വാഹാ. അഗ്നിം ദൂതം പ്രണീമ ഗേഹോധാരം വിശ്വവേദസം അസ്യ യജ്ഞസ്യ സുക്രദഗ് സ്വാഹാ. യേഷാമീശേ പശുപതി പശൂനാം ചതുഷ്പതാമുതജദ്ദിപതാം നിഷ്ക്രീതോയം വിജ്ഞം ഭാഗമേതരായസ്പോഷാ യജമാനസ്യ സന്ധു സ്വാഹാ. ആപ്യായസ്സ സമേതുതേ വിശ്വതസ്വമവൃഷ്ണീയം ഭവാഭാജസ്സംഗതേ സ്വാഹാ. അഗ്നിർമൂർധാധിപകഹുപതി പൃഥിവ്യായം അഭാഗം രേതാകം സിജിൻവസി സ്വാഹാ. ബൃഹസ്പതേ അധിയധര്യോർഗ ആദിതിമദ്ധിപാധികൃതമജ്ജനേഷു യദ്ധീത യച്ഛവത തതസ്മാസു ദ്രവണന്തേക ചിത്രഗ് സ്വാഹാ. പ്രവശുക്രായ ഭാനവേ ഭരത്തകം ഹവ്യം മതിഞ്ചാഗ്നയേ സുഭൂതം യോ ദൈവ്യാനിമാനുഷാ ജനോഗിക്ഷന്തർവിശ്വാനി വിത്മനാജികാതി സ്വാഹാ. ഷന്നോ ദേവീരപുഷ്ടയാപോ ഭവന്തു പീതയേ ശംയോഃ അഭിശ്രവന്തുന സ്വാഹാ. കയാന ചിത്രാബുവദൂതി സദാവൃതസഃ കയാചിഷ്ടയാ വൃതാ സ്വാഹാ. കേതും കൃണ്വന്ന കേതവേപേശോ മര്യാഭേഷസേ സമുഷദ്ഭിരജായതാ സ്വാഹാ. ബ്രഹ്മാദേവാനാം പദമേകവീനാം ഷർവിപ്രാണാം മകിഷോ മൃഗാനാം സേനോ ഗൃത്വാ നാഗം സ്വതി ദർവനാനാഗം സോമ പവിത്രമഗ്നേ നിരേവൻ സ്വാഹാ. സചിത്രചിത്രം ചിതയന്തമസ്മൈ ചിത്രക്ഷത്രചിത്രതവംബ യോധാം ചന്ദ്രം രയം പുരുവീരം മൃഗന്ധം ചന്ദ്രചന്ദ്രാപഗൃണതേ ഇവ സ്വസ്വാഹാ. ആയുഷ്ടേ വിശ്വദോ ദതത് അയമഗ്നിർവരേണ്യഃ പുനസ്തേ പ്രാണ ആയതി പരായശ്വം സ്വാമിതേ സ്വാഹാ. ആയുർദ അഗ്നേ അവിഷോ ജുഷാണഃ കൃതപ്രതീകഃ കൃതയോനിരേതി കൃതം പീത്വാ മധുജാരിഗവ്യം പിതേമ പുത്രമവിരക്ഷതാദിമഗ് സ്വാഹാ. അഭമൃക്തിമഭക്ഷതമഭേദശബദഞ്ജഗി അധാനോജ്ഞാപകരായ സ്ഫോടകം സഹസ്രണഗ് സ്വാഹാ. ഏതേ സഹസ്രമൈദംപാശാമൃത്യോമർത്യായ ഹന്തവേ താനി യജ്ഞസ്യ മാജയാ സർവാനവേ ജാമകേ സ്വാഹാ. ഹിരണ്യവർണാം ഹരിണീം സുവർണരജതസ്രജാം ചന്ദ്രാം ഹിരണ്മയീം ലക്ഷ്മീം ജാതവേതോമാഭ സ്വാഹാ. താമാഭഗജാതവേതോ ലക്ഷ്മീമനവഗാമിനീം യസ്യാം ഹിരണ്യം വിന്ദേയങ്കാമശ്വം പുരുഷാനകം സ്വാഹാ. അശ്വപൂർവാമൃതമധ്യാമസ്തിനാഥ പ്രബോധനീം ശ്രിയം ദേവേമുപക്വ യേ ശ്രീർമാൻ ദേവീഞ്ജുഷസാം സ്വാഹാ. കാംസോസ്മിതാം ഹിരണ്യപ്രാകാരാം ആർദ്രാഞ്ജലന്തീം തൃപ്താം തർപ്പയന്തീം പത്മേ സ്ഥിതാം പത്മവർണാം ത്വാമിഗോപക്വ യേ ശ്രിയം സ്വാഹാ. ചന്ദ്രാം പ്രഭാസാമിഷസാഞ്ജലന്തീം ശ്രിയം ലോകേ ദേവജുഷ്ടാമുദാരാം താം പത്മിനീമീം ശരണമഹം പ്രപദ്യേ ലക്ഷ്മീർമേ നശ്യതാം ത്വാം വൃണീം സ്വാഹാ. ആദിത്യവർണേ തപസോതി ജാതോ വനസ്പതിസ്തവ വൃക്ഷോദ ബിൽവഃ तस्य बलानि तपसानि धन्तुमायान्दरायाश्च बाह्या लक्ष्मी स्वाहा उपैधुमां देवसः कीर्तिशमणिना सह भ्रातर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृक्तिं ददातु मे स्वाहा शुक्तिभासामलां ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीर्नाशयाम्यहम् अभोदिवसमृक्तिं च सर्वाण्णर्नुत मे गृहात् स्वाहा गन्धक्भारान्दराधर्षां नित्यपुष्टां करीषिणीम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां त्वामिगोपक्व ये श्रियं स्वाहा मनसः काममाकोधिं वाचः सत्यमषीमयीं पशूनां रूपमन्यस्य मयि श्रीश्रयदामेश स्वाहा कर्दमेन प्रजा भूतामयि सम्भव कर्दम श्रियं वासय मे कुले मातरं पद्ममालिनीं स्वाहा आभस्निजन्तु स्निग्धा निचिक्ली तपस मे गृहे निजदेवीं मातरग्रश्रियं वासय मे कुले स्वाहा आर्द्रां इष्करणीं इष्टिं पिङ्गलां पद्ममालिनीं चन्द्रामिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेतोमाप स्वाहा आर्द्रां पुष्करणीं पुष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीं सूर्यामिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेतोमाप स्वाहा तामावगजातवेतो लक्ष्मीमनभगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रबोधङ्गापो दास्योश्वान् विन्देयं पुरुषानकं स्वाहा महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् नमः स्वाहा ஓம் அப்பா போற்றி ஓம் அரசே போற்றி ஓம் அமுதே போற்றி ஓம் அழகே போற்றி ஓம் அற்புதா போற்றி ஓம் இறைவா போற்றி ஓம் இன்பா போற்றி ஓம் ஈஷா போற்றி ஓம் உடையோய் போற்றி ஓம் உணர் போற்றி ஓம் அரங்க நகலையோர் போற்றி ஓம் ஆறுமுகன் அம்மாள் போற்றி ஓம் அனுமயந்தன் தேவனே போற்றி ஓம் அற்புத வினீதனே போற்றி ஓம் ஆழ்வார்கள் தொழுபவனே போற்றி ஓம் ஆனந்தமூர்த்தியே போற்றி ஓம் அனைக்கருள் புரிவாய் போற்றி ஓம் உமையம்மை காப்பாய் போற்றி ஓம் உலகலந்த பெருமாள் போற்றி ஓம் எங்கும் நிறைந்தவனே போற்றி ஓம் கருட வாகனனே போற்றி ஓம் மகாவிஷ்ணவே போற்றி ஓம் மகாலட்சுமியே போற்றி ஓம் நம சிவாய போற்றி போற்றி போற்றி. ओम सप्रद सभान्मे गोपाय येन सभ्या सभासदः तानन्द्रियावदत्कुरु सर्वमायुरुपासताम् पूर्णनीराञ्जनं समर्पयामि आजमनेयं समर्पयामि सामक्षत्रवृद्धवृद्धविष्णीयं तिष्ठुभौजः शुभिदम् उग्रभीरमिन्द्रस्तोमेन पञ्चदशेन मध्यमिदं वादेन सखरेण रक्षा उग्रभीरमिन्द्रस्तोमेन पञ्चदशेन मध्यमिदं वादेन सखरेण रक्षा.
The couple have now concluded the prayer for the 4 elements. In fact, in Hinduism, we have 5. Earth, wind, water, and fire. We include space as well. They pray, of course, for peaceful sanctity on this earth, and we need it most now ever than before. And ultimately, they pray for their marriage to have longevity, long-lasting, as long as God wills them to be together. Even death cannot extinguish their marriage. It only extinguishes the body, but not the soul. And that is why this couple have explained to each other their wonderful nuptial vows, that they will be together for sickness and or in poor health, for as long as they both shall live, and indeed even when days are dark. That is their vow to each other. We call that Pani Grahan. Pani is an old Sanskrit word that means hand, and Grahan to clasp. And who better than to hold the one who loves you the most? And ultimately, it's connected by your pulse, and that is your lifeline, your heart. Today, we're not teaching them something about medical tactics on stage, but rather about their love. Sometimes there will be challenges, but amongst all of that, there will be the joy. Our priest is now ready to commence with the sacred prayer to the Thali, which will be draped around the coconut, three being used on stage. That is, of course, woven by a silkworm. We've taken the art away from them by taking that silk away and making the Thali its God's gift. It's also draped in gold, and that is, of course, a mineral freely available from the earth at one point. It's now a middleman we have to pay an exorbitant amount for. But that is also God's gift to you. Rowena and Chuvasen, the bachelor party and the hen night is now over. If you want to change your mind, we haven't closed any doors. But once we shut that, you will open your new one, and that is your marriage. When the wedding is over, your life begins. It's now time for all of us to impart our energy and blessings to them as they enter the vows of their marriage before the Thali time.
Om Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarnarajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jataveto Maapaha Mahadevi cha Vitmahe Vishnupatni Jadimahi Tanno Lakshmi Prajodayad Yadevi Sarvabhudeshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Bhurbhuvasvarom Asmin Mangalye Sri Mahalakshmim Mangalya Lakshmim Dhyayami. Both of you say Om Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Mangalya Lakshmi Namaha. Om Mahalakshmi Namaha Mangalya Lakshmi Namaha. Touch. Put water 3 times. Asanam samarpayami padayoha padyam samarpayami arkyam samarpayami ajamanayam samarpayami. Mahalakshmi Namaha Mangalya Lakshmi Namaha. Divya parimala gandhandarayami gandhasyobari haridra kunguma churnam samarpayami. Gandha pushpa dhupa deepaihi Sakala Aradhanaihi Suvarchitam. Om Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Dhanya Lakshmi Namaha. Om Sandhana Lakshmi Namaha. Om Saubhagya Lakshmi Namaha. Om Khadga Lakshmi Namaha. Om Karunya Lakshmi Namaha. Om Vidya Lakshmi Namaha. Om Vijaya Lakshmi Namaha. Om Dhana Lakshmi Namaha. Om Mangalya Lakshmi Namaha. Samasta Upajaran Samarpayami. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha Mangalya Lakshmi Namaha. Samasta Upajaran Samarpayami. Om Kardamena Praja Bhuta Mayi Sambhava Kardama Sriyamba Sayame Kule Madaram Vatma Malinim Abasnijan Dosnigdani Chikli Tapasame Grihe Nijadevem Madaragha Sriyamba Sayame Kule. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Vijjandanukka Vardhino Vishalyobana Bhagam Uta Aneshannaseshava Apurasya Nishangatihi. Mahalakshmi Namaha Mangalya Lakshmi Namaha. Dhupamagrapayami. Divartam Pushpani Samarpayami. Dhupa Deepanandaramajamaneyam Samarpayami. Bhodbhavasvaha. Satyam Dhartena Parishinjami Amrutam Bhavatu. Pranai Swam Bhanai Swaham Vyanai Swaha. Udhanaya Swam Samanai Swam Brahmane Swaha. Mahalakshmi Namaha Mangalya Lakshmi Namaha. Nanavida Phalam Sarvamidapaham. Nivedyam Samarpayami. Nivedyanandaram Ajamanayam Samarpayami. ॐ सोमो वा ये तस्य राज्यमाधत्ते यो राजासन् राज्यो वासो वे न जयते देवसुवा मेधानि हवीगुंषि भवन्ति येथावङ्गो वै देवानागन् सभाः त एवास्मै सभान् प्रयच्छन्ति स्तयेनं पुनस्तु वन्दे राज्याय देवसु राजा भवति कर्पूरनीराञ्जनं समर्पयामि पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलाय दाक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधस्व महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् महालक्ष्मी नमः समस्त उपचारान् समर्पयामि
The only person not smiling is Chuvasen. But you should feel proud because you are being coronated. You are becoming a king as your pagri is placed around you. Handmade by our Guruji Aya. What a crafty man he is. And Rowena watches, knowing that this is the moment she will cherish, because the one who has courted and sniffed the wind like a dappled deer to fall in love will now, of course, indeed be firmed in their marriage. They'll be ready for the sacred tali tying ceremony, where a representative from the groom family, a senior lady, will come forward to assist with the tying of this nuptial knot. Thereon, you'll notice Rowena will then place her feet on the meti, which is the grinding stone. The youth of today call that the olden day food processor. The Hindis call that the sila lora. And as you place your foot on the grinding stone, so is that marriage going to be firm as a rock, hard to break. And then Chuvasen will place on the sacred toe rings, manning that in this life, he will then be the spiritual guide, marrying the upper, lower, middle, and beautiful aspect of this lady. We have a success story on stage. I think he deserves a round of applause, don't you think so? If you score a hole-in-one the next time, you're welcome to wear it again. The Guru will now chant a sacred Vedic mantra and a prayer in Tamil or Telugu, and all of you will then raise your hands thereon and bless that thali, no matter what creed, culture, and religion you come from, allowing this couple to have the blessings. May we please have the senior lady from the groom's family to please come and assist with the sacred thali tying ceremony. Kavide will hold the god lamp, and indeed Denise will of course assist with the nalangu tray and the garlands. Our Guruji will of course be ready now to enunciate this marriage with love and prayer.
Thank you, our MC. Well said, well explained. Om. Yes, our MC explained. This is the highlights of the wedding. We're going to tie the thali. இந்த மனைப்பந்தில் அமைந்திருக்கும் திருவாளர் லோகன் கவுண்டர், சரணடைந்த திருவாளர் செல்வி செம்பகவல்லி கவுண்டர், திருவாளர் செல்வன் சுவேஷன் கவுண்டருக்கும், திருவாளர் சிவா நாயுடு திருமதி பிரேமா நாயுடு மகள் திருவாளர் செல்வி ருவேனா நாயுடுவுக்கும் திருமணம் முடிய போகிறது. இவர் இருவரும் பூவும் மணமும் போலவும் உடலில் உயிர் போலவும் இணையிறியாத இல்லறத்தில் இருந்து வாழும்படி கடவுளிடம் வேண்டிக் கொள்கிறோம். As our MC said, let's all of us pray together. All please rise for a minute or so, then we can tie the thali. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Gajananam Bhutaganathi Sevitam Kabhikta Jambo Bhalasara Bhakshitam उमासुधं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम् ஐந்து கரத்தனை யானை முகத்தனை இன்று நிலம்பினை பரிவேற்றினை நந்தி மகந்தனை யானக் கொழுந்தினை புந்தியில் வெயிற்று அடி போற்றுகின்றேனே. ஓம் நம சிவாய வாழ்க, நாதன்தான் வாழ்க, இமை பொழுத்தும் என் நெஞ்சில் நீங்கா தான் தாழ்வாழ்க, கோகழியாண்ட குருமனிதன் தான் வாழ்க, ஆகமமாகி நின்ற அன்னிப்பால் தான் வாழ்க. சர்வமங்கள மாங்கல்யே சிவே சர்வார்த்த சாதகே சரண்யே திரியம்பகே கௌரி நாராயணி நமோஸ்துதே. சாந்தாகாரம் புஜகசேனம் பத்மநாபம் சுரேஷம் விஸ்வாகாரம் ககனசதிருஷம் மேகவர்ணம் சுபாங்கம் லக்ஷ்மீகாந்தம் கமலநயனம் யோகிகிரித்யானகம்யம் வந்தே விஷ்ணும் பவபயகரம் சர்வலோகைகநாதம். பத்மப்ரியே பத்மினி பத்மஹஸ்தே பத்மாலயே பத்மதளாயதாக்ஷி விஸ்வப்ரியே விஷ்ணுமனோனுகூலே त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधस्वां महादेव्ये च विद्महे विष्णुभक्त्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात्. அருள் பெரும் ஜோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருள் பெரும் ஜோதி தென்னாளுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் ஆற்றவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி போற்றி. ஸ்ரீயக்காந்தாய கல்யாண நிதயே நிதயேர்த்தினாம் ஸ்ரீமத் வெங்கட நிவாசாய ஸ்ரீனிவாசாய மங்களம். மங்களம் ராகவேந்திராய மகனீய குணாத்மனே சக்கரவர்த்தி ஸ்வரூபாய சார்மபௌமாய மங்களம். நன்றி, வணக்கம். Thank you very much. You may be seated now. Four of you walk one round. ஓம் ஹிரண்யவர்ணாம் ஹரிணிம் சுவர்ணரஜதஸ்ரஜாம் சந்திராம் ஹிரண்மயீம் லக்ஷ்மீம் ஜாதவேதோம ஆபஹ தாம் ஆபஹ ஜாதவேதோ லக்ஷ்மீமனவகாமினீம் யஸ்யாம் ஹிரண்யம் விந்தேயம் காமஸ்வம் புருஷானஹம் அஸ்வபூர்வாமிரதமத்யாம் ஹஸ்திநாத பிரபோதனீம் ஸ்ரீயன் தேவீமுபக்வ யே ஸ்ரீர்மாம் தேவீஞ்சுஷசாம் காம்சோஸ்மிதாம் ஹிரண்யப்ராகாரம் ஆர்திராஞ்சலந்தீம் திருப்தாம் தர்ப்பயந்தீம் பத்மே ஸ்திதாம் பத்மவர்ணாம் துவாமி கோபக்வயே ஸ்ரீயம் சந்திராம் பிரபாசாமிஷசாம் ஜுலந்தீம் சந்திராம் ஆபோகிஷ்டாம யோபுபஸ்தான ஊர்ஜே ததாதன மகேரணாய சக்ஷசே யோபஸ்வதமோரசः भूर्भुवस्सुवः. श्रीवर्चस्वमायुष्यमारोग्यमाभिधा शोभमानं महीयते धान्यं धनं पशुं भुगपुत्रलाभं शतसंवत्सरं दीर्घमायुः. आयुक्षेवेन्द्रिय ओम bring the hand that side, this side. I tell you just now. Don't tight now. Wait. Wait, yeah. Come. Om Mangalyandandula. Put 3 notes now. Om Mangalyandandula Lena Mama Jivana Heduna Kande Bhadrabhi Shubhage Tunjima Sharadham Shadam. More yeah, more yeah. Yeah, put 3 notes there. Om Mangalyandandula Lena Mama Jivana Heduna Kande Bhadrabhi Shubhage Tunjima Sharadham Shadham Shadhamanam Bhavati Shadhaya Purusha Shadhendriya Ayukshevendriye Pratiteshtati.
The beautiful party tying ceremony has now indicated that Rowena has now transformed her life. She's no longer, of course, in the stage of what we call the cunning, which is singledom, and he's no longer a brahmacharian. They've now elevated their status and entered into that grihast ashram I explained a little earlier on. And with the blessings of all of you out here, and of course the chanting of the mantras by our Guruji, and with the love and obeisance from God above, they now exchange their garlands 3 times, so much so that the garland that sat on Chuvasen's shoulder will now be around Rowena, and hers around him, teaching them not to have animosity. be explicit. They are saying what is yours is now mine, and what is mine is now yours. Not just your material possessions, which people, of course, always think that's what it's all about, but rather your mind, your body, and your soul. They will then, of course, perform the neti ceremony, which is the placement of the toe rings, and of course, the anguti. I'd like you to look down the aisle. We have a young man, a bodyguard to the rings, and a silver suitcase. Now, as many of you will concur, around the world, religions have divided people. But this is one ceremony that comes together in every particular religion when it comes to marriage, and indeed even those that do not have a religion. And that is the anguti, or what we call the ring ceremony. As they're giving him a pep talk, prepping him up, making him look like a superstar, he is now ready to come down with the rings. He's young, he's innocent, and he'll teach you friendship. And that is what Rowena and Chuvasen must never forfeit. Don't let that little boy and little girl inside you grow too quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, our ring bearer. Wow, he's done well. He's got a bit of bling as well. Even the chaperone who brought him on stage is wearing this gold tackies with a sari. Guess who'll be doing the running around and dancing tonight? The rings will be placed on the fourth finger of your left hand. People say that medically, that particular finger has a forked vein that runs behind it. It's linked to the right ventricle of your heart. Twice the amount of blood is pumped to that finger. And that's why on the day of reckoning, it's placed around a single deed of love. To those that are watching our live stream around the world, I hope you're enjoying the beautiful precepts and traditional ceremony. One thing they will be missing is our after party coming later on. But for now, the bachelors are offering their sympathies to Chuvasen, and of course everyone is saying 2 days on the golf course will not be sufficient in marriage. You need to spare just half a Saturday, that's it. As they link those rings together, isn't this romantic? Isn't this poetic? Their wedding story has not come to an end. It has now begun. Rowena will now place on those codes of conduct. They have no beginning. They have no end. Circles of love that are infinite. A round of applause to Mr. and Mrs. Governor. He's confused because everyone's directing him in different directions. You can't tell a kid with a gift what to do, I'll tell you this. He's gonna open it, and I hope it's not empty. Kavita, thank you. It was a single deed of holding the God lamp, but now there's a new Lakshmi in Chuvasen's life, and that will be Rowena. Isn't that a proud moment? She'll give you the Lakshmi in the lamp. But just be a little careful, because she is transformed. Like Mother Lakshmi, she'll give you prosperity. Like Mother Durga, she will transport your kids one day. Education is Mother Saraswati. You come for a bit tipsy one evening, she'll turn into Mother Kali. Just be careful. Take your blood. I suggest a spare room. Rowena, you'll adjourn to that grinding stone next to Guru Aya. Who said weddings can't be fun? You'll place your foot on that, and you'll have Chuvasen just where you need him for the moment, at your feet. And he will learn to give you a foot massage once in a while. You'll learn on the wedding day, but ultimately you'll place on the sacred toe rings. Absolutely beautiful. We call this the meti in case you don't know. I know the grandmom is out here, she'll understand. It means from this day forth, she will tread into the house just like Mother Shakti, and she will grant serenity, harmony, and so much of love. that we can share it around the world. So Chuvasen, you will willingly place on those toe rings. Remember, they are not shackles or leg irons. No one's marrying under duress. And when you place it on, I want you to look at your wife and see that beaming smile she has. Is it because you're putting on the rings, or is it because she has you in some position? Ask me, I was married April Fool's Day. But Chuvasen, there will be an opportunity where she falls at your feet. So there is equality in this marriage, no master and slave, but rather an equilibrium of you taking care of her. I must commend the couple. From this day forth, they will elevate their status and graduate, because they will no longer be the fiancé and fiancée. Chuvasen will lose his bachelor's and graduate with a master's in marriage. And that will be so exciting. The parents will be the first one who will offer their blessings. We call that the Asirvatam. And then the rest of you, and we call that the Sabe Asirvatam. We will do photos on stage. There will be canapes, entrees, and there will be so much of merriment this afternoon because they will be Earth's newlyweds. And if you all behave, we'll give you a public holiday the next day. That is your human right. We now summon the parents onto stage, and they will swap positions, and you as well, Chuvasen. So your bride is on your left side, where you'll hold her hand with the left, and you will adore her with your right. You will salute, you protect, give her money, credit cards with that right. I'm just going too far. But also you will use that to protect. But most especially, she'll be closer to your heart. Notice the family has swapped positions, meaning both families have now fused. So not just the two of you married, but the two wonderful families have infused. How brilliant are they on stage? We want to thank our Guruji. So can we ask the groom's family to come first? They will do a photo, and then they will seek the blessings. They will ask the kids to touch their feet. Then we'll ask the bride's family. This is random, so there's no particular order to that. And thereon you will all have a chance, and I'll explain the protocol for that. Our fine venue caterers will then be serving canapes and entrees in a short while, and we look forward to that because most of us are feeling peckish after an afternoon wedding. Stand a little closer, Rowena and Chuvasen. Don't pretend you haven't done that before. But you'll come together to the feet of Dad, and also to Mr. and Mrs. Munsami, representing your parents. Obviously not taking your place, but being the godfather and godmother. Bless them, touch them, give them all the anointments you can. I've got a feeling parents just love this. They don't want the kids to stay there for a while. Don't think they're not naughty as well. Dad feels very proud and pompous, but you just need to just breathe in so look good in the picture. I didn't say anything. Don't get me. Dad, you'll remain here. Sorry, Mr. Yeah, you just wait here. Don't go away because we'll have to welcome the summonee as well. Yes, they will become summonees after this. Can we ask, of course, Mr. and Mrs. Naidu to come up to the stage as well? You can enter from your side. It's not an issue. burst of color on stage. Such a proud moment when the parents, of course, watch their offsprings being married. Some parents feel relief, like burdens have gone from the house, but that's a story for another day. I'm not just saying. We also ask both sets of parents to meet in the center. They are now summoned. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. They'll share an alcoholic beverage at the bar later, I'm sure, the two dads. The mums will just do fruit punch. Now you will actually, we're going to take an opportunity of thanking our Guru Ayi on stage, together with his fine assistants who were here from quite early. Give them a round of applause. So nice to have the benediction, the love, the pranams and salutations. Our service providers have gone the extra mile and we can feel the love. So thank you to all of you in advance. The event hasn't concluded and already we're feeling the gloss. I'm sure a little later on we're going to have so much of fun as well. To all those folks who are watching on a virtual through our gentleman friend here, Bernard, who's live streaming, I'm sure they're missing the live feel but enjoying the virtual status. And they also offer their blessings to you. They'll send emojis and hashtags. We'll just throw flower petals here. It'll be different. And now, a moment you're going to cherish. You will be given the king's scepter with the 7 nodes on that bamboo pole. It's the tallest grass in the world. It's not a stick to hit the bride with. You rule your kingdom with that scepter as a king. And if you are the king, she's your queen. Just don't tell that to Harry and Meghan. But with that being said and done, there are 7 serious steps on that. Your first step is longevity, a long-lasting marriage. Your second step is nourishment. You always have food, strength and vigor. Your third is so important, not to treat your parents lesser than the other, to include your guests, charity and domestic pets on this earth. From the charitable element, you move, of course, to fertility, that you are able to conceive and have healthy children and treat those that are not yours with the same love and respect. You also ask for prosperity, that is to have a certain wealth to maintain and sustain your marriage, and remember not to exploit. And then finally, you'll find your 6th and 7th steps is your love for God and indeed your health. How important that the queues at the golf course are a bit shorter than at the pharmacy. We need to change that. People need to exercise. But there we go. On the count of 3. Don't say Arogara, but just lift it. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Govender.
Dhanyam dhanam pashum bhugaputra labham Shadasam valsaram dirghamayu.
It's important. Lots of people watching. We'd like to do the presentation for the Guru. If we can ask, it's on the right-hand corner. A little offering to you, Guru.
Om.
I think we'll just have the parents come up. Thank you, Guru. This is an oblation to you. It's just a little sentiment.
Om Hiranyagarbhagarbhastam Hema Bijam Vibhavasoho Ananda Punya Phalatam Adashandim Prayashame Asyaha Idam Bhaktanam Sagakudumbanam Logan Gounder Namadayasyaha Rowena Naidu Namadayasyaha Idam Dharmabhatyaha Avayoho Sagakudumbanam Sarva Bhishtaga Siddhyartam Mahalakshmi Paripurnaha Kadakshaka Siddhyartam Puja Sadgunyam Kamemanaha Idam Agneyam Mirannam Sadakshanagam Tubhyamaham Sambradate Om Tatsate श्रीवर्चस्समायुष्यमारोग्यमाविधान् शोभमानं महीयते धान्यं धनं वशुं भुगपुत्रलाभं शतसंवत्सरं दीर्घमा.
Thank you, Guru. Just accept that with love from the... We'll ask the couple to just touch the feet of the Guru. Madhav Pitam Guru Arudeva.
दीर्घायुष्मान भव दीर्घसुमंगली भव सर्वाभीष्टसिद्धिरस्तु.
Thank you to the parents. My apologies.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the protocol is very simple. They are a married couple. If you feel comfortable, you may make contact with them, but we would love for you to shower them with rose petals. You'll stand abreast of them, center front of the stage, and do a photograph, and then return to your seats, mingle and socialize, while our wonderful crew at the Royal Johannesburg and Kensington Country Club will, of course, present you with canapes and entrees. We also have our assistant priests who have joined us. They were here quite early as well.
Om
They
Shadama
will also offer their blessings.
Pratitishthati. Yeah. I just wanted to say a big thank you to our MC, and it's a wonderful job has been done. And some of the wedding I'll explain, but what you did is bottom of our heart. Big thank you to you, and give him a big round of applause, please. As he said, thank you to our Vijayan and Ravi and Devan and Anish. Thank you very much as well. Thank you very much.
Shukriya Anandri or Shivratri. On a very special day, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great privilege and pleasure to state through to Chuvasen and to Rowena, from this day forth, you are now no longer, of course, the boyfriend and girlfriend, fiancé and fiancée, one who parted who was on par, but rather you will stand on your own, of course, 19th hole, away from the admiration of potential golfers, and now, of course, festoon your marriage, and you'll putt knowing that you've already got the hole-in-one. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Govender.
Go one round. You go. You can get that. Water.
A special
Om
thank you.
Shadhamanam Bhavati Shadhayu Purusha Shadhendriya Ayukshevendriye Pratitishthati.
Thank you to Ganesh, Minesh, and the rest of the crew at Music Corps. And we have Bernadette and, of course, Marlene, who will now be capturing images. And ladies and gentlemen, the bridal couple will now join you center front. You may put on your shoes. And Shivasan, if you want to fix your windswept hair, you're most welcome. If someone's got putty, most welcome. I see you was worried about that when the turban went on. And we'll ask the two sisters, that's Kavita and Denisa, thank you so much for your love on there. You are now relieved of your duties. And we'll see you later at the reception. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Mr. and Mrs. Govender, aren't they amazing? Brilliant. We'll ask them to stand center front of the stage and we'll do the photographs. We'll ask you to come in pockets of family and friends, just to adhere to that social distancing of 1.5 meters apart. Lockdown has really changed things. I mean, I go into a bank with a mask and ask for money and they just give me. Even some of the men complain. They have more alcohol in their hands than in the liver. We'll write a letter to the president about this. But out of all this depression, we look forward to illumination. Exactly a year ago, gatherings were banned and we're back again. But it doesn't mean your love has been postponed any further.